dunks. Now they got a fella who people think could be a little Jordan-esque, like on that particular pass right there. It's Caleb Williams entering year 2 of the Ben Johnson offense in Chicago. Last year, the Bears had 6 game-winning drives, tied for the most in the NFL. But the coach wants his quarterback to have that level of play all the time, so they don't need all those late comebacks. Here's what the coach had to say about it.
I think that word consistency comes up over the course of a 60-minute game or more if we need it, to where we're playing high-level quarterback play throughout that game. I mean, you see flashes of it, and yet we're trying to tap into that where we're just consistently delivering the ball where it needs to go, giving it to our guys around us, and then we all know that he has that ability to put on that Superman cape when the time calls.
So I guess what he's saying is you don't want him to have to be Superman,
right?
Because you don't want him to be Clark Kent for the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, you said 6 comeback victories and another one in the playoffs.
Right.
So yes, he was an absolute monster in the fourth quarter of games. The highlights are, I mean, every time we talk Caleb Williams, I'm excited because we get to see the throws again.
Right.
Right. But what you want if you're Ben Johnson is not to have to lean on, I mean, it's an exceptional run game last year, but you don't want to have to, you don't want to have to lean on the defense leading the league and collecting turnovers. You want your quarterback to be able to manage you through the game. Now, he's not being critical. He's talking about next steps. He's only had 1 year with Caleb Williams, and he's able to iron out a lot of things in that time. But there's hope for more this year, and if you're the coach, what you want is to not have to sweat out the fourth quarter every week.
The baffling thing about Caleb is he's shown with a level of unbelievable consistency to have absurd accuracy in the most difficult situations. The baffling thing is what I think Ben Johnson is talking about, and the thing that I see also is like it's 1st and 10 in the first quarter, and there's a guy open 10 yards away, and he'll completely miss him. And you're like, how is this the same person? And then he throws through these tight windows and makes these, and you're like, how are these the same? It's just rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely
this
do
one.
you.
Yeah, this one. Come on.
And that's just, and then he'll throw a slant and just completely miss his target.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I think that they want to fix. And to Graz's point, they're not going to have those turnovers on defense. Their defense could end up being a problem this year, so they're going to have to be more consistent.
They led the league with 33 turnovers or takeaways last year, which was obviously something that you can't depend on. Some of that is scheme, some of it is luck. Here's what I would say. There are no guarantees in this kind of stuff, especially with young quarterbacks. I mean, those are the biggest wild cards maybe in all of sports. But if you were going to bet on any situation to turn out really well, if you look at Ben Johnson's resume and you look at Caleb Williams' talent, I'm not sure where you would point that you would say is a safer bet to elevate to something really special than that. That's where I would put my money.
Yeah, I can see why you would. I can see why you would. And look, and really when you go through his tape from last year, there are instances where you saw him really execute as a quarterback at a very, very high level in some difficult circumstances. This is here down in the red zone against Dallas. He gets through 4 progressions. From left to right, he goes 1, 2, 3, and then he's able to move up in the pocket, out to his right, identify the 4th wide receiver uncovering in the middle of the field, and throw the football with accuracy. There's no panic. This isn't a wow play, but what it is, it's great quarterbacking from a mental standpoint, from a progression read standpoint, staying calm, understanding where the rush is, throwing the football on the move, and putting it right where it needs to and scoring points, which is ultimately what every play caller wants. That right there, to me, when I was watching that's when I'm going, that's what Ben wants to see all the time. And if you get that, you're definitely going to be in the MVP mix.
It's a processing wow play. Like those other plays where it's arm wow, and that one is like it looked Dak Prescott-esque in the way that he worked across the field and made a decision, stepped up in the pocket and delivered. That's the type of consistency that they want. And you were saying you bet on this situation because the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah.
I'd add to it the weapons that they have there, the offensive line that they have there. I would bet on this situation offensively. It looks a whole hell of a lot like what they had in Detroit with the talent around them. The question, again, I think falls on, can this defense get better?
The literal bet would be over 9.5 wins if you wanted to bet on them. That's their over-under at DraftKings. Final thought on Chicago.
Yeah, this is a work in progress, but there's reason to be excited. If you're Ben Johnson, the message to Caleb Williams is, you know, if you think of our games as TV shows, like Game of Thrones is a lot of fun to watch, but every now and then we want to be 60 minutes, right? Because you still got you got to eat your vegetables, right? So I think that's the message. If Caleb, if he's fluctuating early in games because he's not as locked in as he is in the fourth quarter, then those are the edges you have to sand down as the coach.
60 minutes, huh?
Staying in the Midwest.
It's an old reference.
I guess really, you know what else is an old reference? Calling